This isn't just another podcast. We're crushing the taboos and we're rewriting the rules. It's the space where we normalize women becoming wealthy. If you're done playing small and ready to become the CEO of your life and the architect of your future, then my girl, you're in the right room. Welcome to your wealthy era. Welcome to the Wellthy CEO podcast.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Wellthy CEO podcast. I'm Shae Invidiata, your host. On the weekend, I had the pleasure to speak at the Money Move Summit hosted by Run the World Summit at the TD Bank headquarters in downtown Toronto. And I want to take you inside this room because what happened in there is exactly the type of conversations that more women need to be having more often and in more places. And this is why I just wanted to come on today to share with you what was happening inside that room. So let me set the scene a little bit. The summit was held inside the bank at the headquarters, as I said. And there is something really incredible about being in that environment that you can't fake it, right? You walk in and you feel the presence of money. You feel the presence of power. There is a presence of generations that have come before you. And so already you just felt like the energy was majestic in the room, if you will. And yet it was met with like elegance and it was really elevated. The aesthetic was beautiful. There was so much attention to detail. And so this became such a powerful venue to have incredible conversations. And it wasn't just about the room, of course. It's about who was in the room. There was over 400 women that came together who were founders and leaders and entrepreneurs, probably some corporates and 9-to-5s as well. But the most important part was each of the women that showed up on the weekend, they were ready to have real conversations around building wealth, investing in real estate. And these, as you know, are conversations that most people are not having on a regular basis. It's part of the reason why this podcast exists. And so I just loved being in the room and it was so juicy. It was so good that I wanted to share the insights that happened on my panel. I spoke on the Smart Investing for Founders, how to grow wealth beyond your business. And my soul was just lit being on this stage. I just love doing this. I love sharing with women what I know, what I've done, and seeing women rise, allowing them to feel supported, and mostly creating a safe space where they can ask questions. So I want to share with you some of the things that came on the stage, like I said. So the first biggest foundation I'm going to say is that if you're wanting to collapse time on building your wealth, you have to start adopting the mindset and habits and skills of not just multimillionaires, but also billionaires. I went to the B Club on the stage by saying this. And even though you're not there right now, I'm not there right now yet, we can start adopting habits and I'm going to say the success clues that billionaires and multimillionaires do. And so this is one of the things I encourage people to do in their business as you're building, as you're creating. The average person plans in weekends, in months, occasionally in years. Millionaires plan in decades and billionaires plan in generations to come. They are making moves today that are designed to create wealth for their children's children's children. And you could start building like this right now. And we're going to dive into a little bit around this. And the way you think is going to shape the structures that you build. The second thing that came up on stage, and I think really stopped a lot of people, is sharing with them that no billionaire on the planet became a billionaire without also owning real estate. Not one. Show me a billionaire that does not own real estate. It is the asset class that builds and protects generational wealth, period. And so I want you to start thinking, if you don't own real estate right now, part of your goal for this year should be asking how? How can I acquire real estate? And I'll share with you what I shared in the room, that if I could go back to my 25-year-old self, starting out not just in my real estate career, but also looking to acquire real estate for the first time, I would not have bought a primary residence first. I would have bought an income producing asset. And because at 25, I was thinking like a lot of people, I want to own my first house. And it's not even a thing of wanting to impress people. I think you want to impress yourself. And of course, like if you're buying your first house, people are going to be impressed that you're doing that. And there is nothing wrong with that. But that house didn't pay me like how an income producing asset would. And so your first property should be designed to pay you. Looking at cash flow, appreciation, leverage, location. And one of the questions that I was asked was, if you're building your business right now, can real estate become a distraction to that? And I want to share with you this very crucial point. If you do not own assets, you do not have leverage. It's really that simple. And as you're building your business, there might come a point in time where you're needing a cash injection in your business, and you might not want to have to go and raise capital. You might not want to have to go and look for investors. And if you don't have any assets to borrow against or to use as leverage, where are you going to come up with that capital? And so I'm a really firm believer that both is able to happen at the same time. Everything is figure outable. You are able to figure out how can you go acquire your first property while you're building your business. And maybe if it is for your first property, maybe you do a joint venture, you get a partner, you put in a very good divorce clause in the event that you guys go separate ways. You want to protect yourself always. And that might be a good entry point for you to be able to get into the real estate game while still building your business. And I want to share this other important reality, is that today's money always feels expensive. And then tomorrow, you'll wish that you bought yesterday. If you are buying a good performing asset in real estate, it is going to go up over time. And you will look back as you're building your business saying, I wish that I did buy something 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And so just because you're building a business, don't, I'm going to say, neglect also considering to invest in real estate. And there are ways, of course, like I just shared with you, to be able to do that. One of the other light bulb moments that happen in the room for people is there was an insurance person on the panel and talking about using insurance as a protection vehicle. And that is true. There's different insurance instruments, is what I refer them to as, that are very, very good to have. And I think a lot of people are really undereducated in this area, actually. And I gave 2 takeaways that I want to share with you: the power of having different insurance. We think of insurance as like paying for your car, and you pay that monthly payment and you never see it again. Even if you never get into an accident for your entire policy life, you'll never see that money again. There are certain insurance policies, like a whole life policy, like critical insurance, that when you pay into them, they have extreme benefits. And some of them are compounding, like whole life, that can actually set you up yourself for your life, but also for your children and your children's children. And this is what millionaires do, multimillionaires do, and the billionaires do in order to structure generational wealth and protect their assets and their money being passed down to the next generation. So I want to give you an illustration. When I got pregnant, I called my insurance guy and I said, I need a whole life policy prepared and ready for my daughter who's not born yet, because the earlier you get into a policy, it's going to be the cheapest it's going to be. And so at 0 years old, I wanted to put a whole life policy on her. Her policy, I'll be very transparent with you, cost me $5,000 for the entire year. Okay. You can choose to pay it in a lump sum. You can choose to pay it in monthly payments, but it only cost me $5,000 for a year. And if I pay $5,000 each year for 20 years, okay, by the time she is 70 years old, I actually should do the math on this for you guys of how much I actually pay into the policy. You know what? I'm actually going to do it right now. Let's just have some, bear with me. I know I should have done this ahead of time for you, but I want to make this really freaking crystal clear. Okay. $5,000 a year for 20 years is $100,000. Okay. If you're listening right now, just take a guess, a mental guess to yourself, what you think at 70 years old my daughter is going to have available to her inside the policy that she can borrow against, she can live off of, she can take it out to use it as a loan, she could use it as a down payment on some other property, she could use it as a pension plan, which will be way more lucrative than any pension plan is going to pay you out if you are paying into a 401k if you're in the United States, or if you're in your RESPs here in Canada. Okay. So for 20 years, you pay in $100,000 over time. And this policy is going to give her about $3 million when she is 70 years old. And it's going to give her children, when she passes away at 70, hopefully she'll live older. And if she does live older, this amount will be even greater. But I'm just using 70 as an illustration. It's going to give her $7.3 million tax-free that she will be able to leave to her children, who are, of course, not born yet. My daughter's 15 and a half months. This is such a powerful tool to set up wealth structures, tax-free, and building generational wealth. Okay, very simple. And it doesn't cost a lot. Like I just told you, that costs $5,000 per year, and it's $100K for the 20 years. There's also critical insurance, which I love. I have critical insurance. My daughter also has critical insurance. And I don't want to go into it too much, but I will tell you this, that if you have a critical insurance policy, and this is for sickness, like if you get diagnosed with cancer, if you get Parkinson's, if you get into a car accident and you become paralyzed, hopefully not, knock on wood, but like if you have some critical illness that takes place, they will give you a monthly check, okay, that has to do with the income that you would normally be bringing in. Not only do they give you that monthly check, okay, that's if you need it, right? So like, that's great, wonderful. But if you never use the policy and you've paid into it for 20 years, you get all that money back. It's literally a win-win, but it's actually like you're creating your own savings account and you get the money back if you don't need to use it. And hopefully you won't need to use it. Hopefully my daughter will never need to use it. So those are two examples I gave on stage that literally had so many people like light bulbs going off. Could not believe that insurance policies actually have these structures in place to create wealth for each of us. And this isn't being talked about, which is why I love stages like this. This is why the podcast exists, so that I am able to help empower women to create wealth for themselves, but also for their children and their family. I want to share a story with you that I had so many women come up to me afterwards, thanking me for sharing my advice, my wisdom. They had questions, saying that, you know, there's not enough stages out there like this where women can come and talk about money, investing, and wealth. And I had one woman come up to me who is in her 50s. She has 3 children, and she shared with me that her father was very risk adverse. He did not have the stomach to invest in anything. And that was his mindset that he passed on to his daughter, who created so much fear in her to invest in anything. Real estate, the stock market, it didn't matter. He was very against investing in general. And she shared with me that at 50 years old, she is still renting. She has never invested. And of course, she's been hesitant to because of how she was brought up. After hearing about the examples I gave about the policy, of course, she wanted to know, is this available for my three children? And they were between the ages of 17 and 22. And I said to her, yes, absolutely. You can get a policy at any time. Just remember, the sooner you take out the policy, the better. It's going to have greater rewards because there's more time for it to compound, and it's going to be cheaper the sooner that you do it. But yeah, of course, you're able to do it. And my heart broke for her because she's in her 50s, and this is the pattern that she has inherited and the belief system that she has inherited from her dad. I was proud of her that she was in this room, and I was even more proud of her that she came up to me to share her story and to tell me that she is changing how she looks at investing, that she wants to start even in her 50s. And she knows that she needs to change her money mindset. And so we had a really, really powerful conversation. And I want to encourage you to think about, what is the money belief that you've been carrying that's holding you back? What is the pattern that you see in your life that maybe you inherited from your family, from society, from culture, from maybe a religious belief? Sometimes it's a teacher, family member. Think about the narrative around money and investing that you had been raised in, and how is that blocking you? How is that holding you back? Because if you don't break it, and especially if you have children, guess what? It gets passed on to your children to also inherit. And so, this is why, guys, this is why I love having these conversations. This is why I love doing what I do. And I don't ever want women to feel embarrassed asking questions about investing, around real estate and finances. And these conversations are so normalized amongst men. And I feel like women are still trying to just crack open the door. Forget finding a seat at the table. Most women are still trying to find the table. And every time I get on a stage and share about something like this, I just know that this is what I am supposed to be doing. And I love giving women permission to ask the questions, permission to want more, permission to become an owner, to become an investor, permission to desire wealth without apologizing for it. And guys, this is why being in the right room matters. If you are the smartest person in the room, girl, let me tell you, you have outgrown that room. You want to find yourself in the room surrounded by people who have done what you want to do, who are willing to pass the baton, share their advice, share their success, but also challenge you. They encourage you to grow, and they're people that want to see you expand. They want to see you rise. And so I want to share this with you. Whatever you have going on right now, ask yourself, am I in the right circles? Am I in the right room? Whether it's a physical event, in a masterclass, and a mastermind, but find the room and invest in being there. And that action is going to really birth clarity. It's going to also help you to stop treating your money like casually and start directing it intentionally. And if you aren't already an investor or an owner, I want you to put in your mind, write it down, tweak your vision board to say that 2026 is going to be the year that you become an investor, the year you become a legacy builder. And I want to share two gifts with you today that I also shared on the weekend when I was speaking, because this is your easiest entry point, okay? That I'm going to just give this to you. One of them is for free. I created the Reclaim Your Money checklist. This is the same checklist I gifted every woman in the room at the summit on the weekend. It is normally $77. And right now, if you are listening to this episode, I am going to make it free for you because action bursts clarity. And I want you to take that step, but I also want to support you in your rise. I want you to be able to identify the bridges, the gaps, and the barriers to all things around money and your finances and wealth so that you can actually know what steps you need to take next. And this checklist is going to give you that clarity. And it's going to tell you exactly where you stand and then the next best steps that you need to be taking. So to grab it, send me a DM on Instagram with the word reclaim, and I will send that over to you. You can also click the link in the show notes. And because I said I'm going to make it free for you, you're going to use the word reclaim at checkout as well. Okay, so DM me the word reclaim on Instagram. I'll send it to you, or click the link in the show notes below. But then remember to use reclaim at checkout. The second invitation that I have for you is on May the 6th. I am hosting a masterclass called Unlocked. This is where we're going to transform financial confusion into investor confidence. This is about being in the right room. My girl, this is the room you want to find yourself in. And I would love to walk you through going deeper, getting really clear on your money mindset. What is your money story? We're going to reframe that, and then talking about wealth building strategies and structures and investing in real estate. We are going to go all into it. It's going to be a live masterclass. It's 3 hours long. You're going to get an incredible workbook that's over 30 pages of so much goodness and value. You will also be able to get the replay so that you can go back and watch it as many times as you need to. You'll have the workbook right there beside you as well. But get in this room. Come and join me. You'll be able to ask your questions. And I just know for so many women that this really is going to help elevate them and change their lives. We are going to transform financial confusion into investor confidence. And I want you to know there's more available for you. So this is where we stop circling conversations and we finally get into it. We step into it. And I would love to see what the next 6-12 months looks like and how it changes for you after you've come through the masterclass. Your financial life is just going to look different. You will be more clear. You're going to have confidence. You're going to have a plan, and you're going to be able to make moves that you didn't even know were possible before. So if you want to find yourself in that room, DM me the word masterclass on Instagram or click in the link in the show notes below, and I will send you all of the details and how you can claim your seat. Guys, I love you. I love you for being here. And before I let you go, I want you to remember that woman in her 50s because she's not just a story. She's also a mirror for so many of us. And we can break that pattern. There is that belief that you've inherited from a parent, from your culture, a version of yourself that you didn't know better yet. And this isn't about fault. This is really about how are we going to break the cycle, break the pattern. Because if you don't, the people watching you, your children, your team, your community, they inherit it next. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's the best part. You don't need to be where you think you should be. You just need to be in the right room. So I'm going to save a seat for you. I love you all. I'm here for you. I'm rooting for you. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. This is how we grow the room. This is how we see more women supported and rise. And I want to see your women in the room with us. Until next time, guys, stay wealthy. If something in today's episode resonated with you or sparked a shift, tag me on IG or send me a DM. I genuinely love hearing what lands for you. And if it spoke to you, share it or leave a quick review. It helps more women find this show and step into their own wealthy era. Until next time, lead with purpose, live with intention, and stay wealthy.